Let's talk transfers with talkSPORT's transfer god, Alex Crook. How you doing?
I'm good. On the subject of Kasper Schmeichel, by the way, interesting situation. He's been given an extended break after the international period over the summer, but the rest of Leicester's internationals have all returned. This comes after I ran a story in my transfer notebook on the talkSPORT website a few weeks ago suggesting there was some doubt about his future. I think his contract is up at the end of the season, so maybe just keep an eye on that one, Leicester fans.
It's a little bit weird, that, isn't it? I mean, he's a goalkeeper, so they barely run anyway. So, and you're right, James Justin is playing today, so others who did feature in international football into the summer are there. So that to me is a little bit weird. But let's talk about transfers. We've got a bit of breaking news, actually. We believe that Bayern Munich are saying no to Cristiano Ronaldo. So can all these Man United fans just wake up? Okay, all those who thought that Ronaldo was a brilliant signing. Yes, he got a couple of goals and gave you some good moments, but no big club wants Cristiano Ronaldo at the wages he's on. So it makes me think that actually, yeah, it was all celebrated and United fans were really happy, but Crookie, that's got to go down as a bad signing in the end, isn't it?
Well, you say a couple of goals. I think he scored 24 goals in all competition in the worst Manchester United team in my lifetime. So I don't think that's too shabby a return. But I think you're right. I think he'll end up staying. I felt that for a while now because I don't think the big clubs that are queuing up for his signature as maybe George Mendes expected them to be. It's Hassan Salihamidzic, the sporting director at Bayern Munich, who's come out today and said that Ronaldo is a fantastic player, but not somebody that we're looking at in this moment in time. I think Oliver Kahn, Bayern legend, and another who still has strong links to the club, said the same earlier in the summer. Obviously, you've got Paris Saint-Germain. I think their owners may entertain the idea, but if you're Christophe Galtier, surely that's the last thing that you want, another big ego. So I think it's interesting. We spoke about this, on Wednesday, Thursday night. He was training in his Manchester United shorts. I think that's a message from Ronaldo that actually he's ready to come back and return to the United fold.
Quickly, a few teams obviously very quiet at the moment in the transfer window, but West Ham are finally making a move. Can you explain who they're going for?
Yeah, they've put in 3 bids, as I understand it. One is for Armando Broja at Chelsea. No real surprise there because I think they've been strong candidates for his signature when David Moyes personally pulled out of the running to sign a former Bournemouth player, Arnaud Danjuma. I think it was because he had Broja on his mind. Thomas Tuchel has come out in the last few hours, Chelsea of course over in America, and said that Tuchel is part of his plan. Broja is part of his plans and not for sale, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The other players they've put in bids for are Amadou Onana, a midfielder at Lille, and also an Italian forward, Gianluca Scamacca. He scored 16 goals last season, a full Italian international. So the West Ham owners really backing their manager, and I think the fans will be pleased to see these bids going in, but I think they'll also be a little bit cautious and hoping this isn't the case of West Ham making bids they know won't be accepted, as I think they were possibly accused of in January when they came in for the likes of Rafinha on deadline day.
Another City reject going to Arsenal, Zinchenko. Is this definitely going to happen? And how much?
It looks that way. £35 million is the fee that I've been given. He's obviously got a relationship with Mikel Arteta from his time at Manchester City, as did Gabriel Jesus. I think Arsenal are fairly confident because they're not the only club who've shown interest. I think West Ham, Newcastle, plus various European clubs have also sounded out Zinchenko. I actually think this is a really good signing for Arsenal because he's got Premier League pedigree. You don't play as many games for Manchester City if you aren't half decent. He can play in midfield, which I think is actually where Arsenal will use him primarily unless Tierney gets injured, in which case he can fill in at left back. So Arsenal have surprised me this summer because obviously they were the biggest spenders in Europe a year ago. I wasn't convinced the board would back Arteta again this summer, having, for me, really failed at the end of the season when they let the Champions League play slip through their grasp. But once again, they are spending big. So again, Arteta can have no complaints and no excuses if they don't finish in the top 4.
Another one with no complaints is obviously me, Crookie. You work with me a lot. I know I'm a Spurs fan. Now, it hasn't been announced, I don't believe, officially, but there's obviously leaks. Jed Spence, 6th signing for Spurs. Can you confirm yet?
Well, it's done, isn't it? We've all seen the pictures of him in the Tottenham kit. Some of these official unveilings have taken an eternity this summer. Gabriel Jesus was photographed in his Arsenal shirt about 4 days before they actually announced it, so no doubt Tottenham are planning something fancy. But yeah, 6th signing, as you say, £12.5 million up front, potentially rising to £20 million. It's been an incredible year for Jed Spence, isn't it? When you think that Neil Warnock decided that he didn't want him at Middlesbrough, went to Forest, helped them win promotion, earn rave reviews, and all of a sudden now he's joining a team in the Champions League. I think the one question about this transfer will come down to character, and you do have to question why both Neil Warnock and Chris Wilder didn't really see a place for such a quality player at Middlesbrough. But I guess Antonio Conte, who made Jed Spence his primary target for that right-sided role very early in the summer, believes that he can do what Steve Cooper did and get the best out of a mercurial talent.
Well, we'll get into Jed Spence in a bit, Darren and I, but let's talk about Man United as well. Martinez, we believe, is going to be finalised soon. You can tell us more on that. And De Jong, as well as we believe Barca are about to announce Lewandowski, and Barcelona's incredible summer continues. So what's the latest on those?
Well, Martinez is pretty much done. 5-year contract agreed, subject to a medical. I think this is a key signing as far as Erik ten Hag is concerned. Someone who can play on the left side at centre-back. He can play as a left-back. He can play in holding midfield as well, which I have a suspicion is possibly where United may utilise him, but we'll find out in the fullness of time. Obviously, Christian Eriksen was signed yesterday, so slowly but surely Ten Hag is getting his players through the building. De Jong is just a bizarre situation, quite frankly. Barcelona have agreed a price with Manchester United. They've made it pretty clear to De Jong that unless he slashes his wages and writes off a lot of that 17 million that he's owed in deferred wages, they have no future for him at the football club. But they're still taking him on their pre-season tour of America. That was announced this morning. They're flying out later today. I think that's just a bargaining tool from Barcelona to try and coax a bit more out of Manchester United when it comes to helping out with this deferred wages. But if you're De Jong, how are you feeling right now? As you mentioned, they've signed Rafinha, they've got a bid in for Lewandowski, only a verbal one I think at this stage. They've got Andreas Christensen signed up, they want Azpilicueta. There's talk of Bernardo Silva, although that's been rubbished by my sources at Manchester City. So you're spending big money on new players and you're not paying an existing player what he is owed. Barcelona are a fantastic football club with a brilliant history, but they're acting like a shambles this summer, to be honest, and a lot of their activity is just classless, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. He shouldn't walk away from 17 million. He should get paid what he's owed and then move on. Chelsea, Crookie, obviously they were quiet with the new owners coming in, but two fantastic signings. Koulibaly, obviously, last night was announced. Any more to come?
Yeah, there will be more to come, absolutely, because they're still quite short in that centre-back area. I mentioned Christensen has moved on. They've lost Rudiger as well. I'm intrigued to see how Koulibaly gets on in the Premier League, because he's a player who's been linked with a move to England window after window, never quite happened. So I think it'll be fascinating to see how he fits in. They thought they were going to get Nathan Ake. That was pulled the plug by Manchester City late on. I know Chelsea were quite frustrated about that, having agreed personal terms with the players. They're still in for Kimpembe, although at the moment no agreement has been reached with Paris Saint-Germain. Jules Koundé is a name that has been on their radar for some time and keeps coming up. So I think they will add defensively. I've said before, I think Raheem Sterling will be a brilliant addition, and they want more wide forwards as well. Maxwell Cornet has been on their list. Everton joining the race for him. So still lots of business to be done for Chelsea in terms of ins and outs, I think, because we know they're offering Timo Werner at one stage in part exchange for Matthias de Ligt. He looks like he's off to Bayern Munich now, but that suggests that Timo Werner doesn't have a future at the club. Probably the same for Christian Pulisic, maybe the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. So I think still lots to be done at Chelsea.
Have you just walked to the end of your garden because you sound out of breath?
I'm on the move because I'm at Butlins, Bognor Regis at the moment.
Wait, what?
So
are you performing live?
People keep turning up, so I'm trying to find a quiet spot away from the madness.
What 80s tribute act are you?
Oh crikey! Well, I'll let you be the judge of that.
And are you two back on Boot Room tomorrow?
We are back on tomorrow. Yes, 5 till 8. I think we've got Adebayo Akinfenwa.
Is that right, Crookie?
I don't know, actually, to be honest. I was going to ask Darren that question. No doubt we'll find out in the fullness of time. We are hoping to have Ryan Fredericks, former West Ham defender, live from the Bournemouth training camp over in Portugal. So trying to sort that out for the show tomorrow. And it'd be nice to have Darren Ambrose back, because last weekend was the first ever Darrenless Boot Room.
It was.
I loved it.
Oh, cheers.
Talking of missing, you were missing from the Game Day podcast. I was in your place, so it was a lot better, I'm told. So please download that and listen to how it's done. Alex, thank you very much. Enjoy Butlins. It's our transfer.
I will. I'm off on stage now.
Our transfer god, Alex Crook. Just avoid the stage area, everybody. It's really not worth it.